Hi, welcome back to Walt Disney Wednesday, which has been on a little break, but it is back today. So, I have got a whole bunch of different papers, new and old, out on my desk today. So I've got some the Wish Upon a Star from Echo Park, some Fancy Pants Bright Side, some Simple Stories Hello Summer, and some Paige Evans Pick Me Up. And then I've got some vintage Hambly. The Hambly screen prints, old company that doesn't exist anymore, or doesn't do screen prints anymore, if you're kind of new to the game and don't recognize them. So this is a much loved sheet, which you can see I have used this much of because I like to put little bits and pieces. These are all from Amy Tangerine's sketchbook collection, I believe. Going right back. Yeah, that's Sketchbook, which is one of her earliest collections. And a little bit of Lawn Fawn, Basic Gray, Simple Stories. And I've got one 4x4 print. This is going in my album of white pages, white cardstock. So that's where I'm starting. And I'm going to layer up lots and lots and lots of pretty paper. I'm going to start with the pink because there's not a lot of pink in this photo. The pink is just here in my bow, really, and then I was wearing a pink top. But I want there to be quite a lot of pink on this page because although you can only see a little bit in the photo, our outfits this particular day were all bounding characters from Pete's Dragon. And so the dragon in Pete's Dragon is green with pink wings. So there was quite a lot of pink across our family outfits that day, even if there's not a lot in the photo. And so that makes it fit the memory for me, even if it's not the picture. And I really like being able to do that and use the pattern paper and use the embellishments that I choose and things like that to bring the memory up to kind of a realistic point in my mind and bring it to how it feels in my head and make the pattern paper help support that story. And the funny thing about that is that I know full well that no one else gets anything from that. I mean, I suppose you can get that because I'm telling you, but when people come to look at my albums in my house, just normal family and things like that, they're not going to get that explanation. I'm not going to tell them why I use that pattern paper or anything like that. So it is basically for me. And that's absolutely okay. That really, really, really helps the process for me. It makes the whole memory keeping part of it just really authentic and lovely and beautiful for me. It makes it good for my head, good for my heart. Okay, so I wanted to get the layers of color behind the photo and then be able to layer up some of these other things. So I've got this beautiful stripe that I really wish I would have bought more of, but I think I might have only bought one because there was only one available. Because, oh goodness, I could put this stripe on lots of layouts. Really, really good. But what I was kind of thinking was that it might go over at the edge, or maybe it's going to go in the middle. I kind of like it more in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to pull it back so that it's just a little bit shorter, so that I'm going to have a white frame all the way around. And I'm going to start. Now, I could add gray to these pieces, gray ink around the edges to make them more defined. But today I'm going to try keeping it all clean and clear to keep the color nice and bright because that's what the photo kind of says to me. There we go. This castle paper is my favorite from that Echo Park collection because Almost all of the papers have this color scheme, and I really love the designs. They're really sweet without being, you know, Disney licensed things. It's not like an actual Mickey there. It's kind of all the feel of Disney, and I like that, but I don't use that color scheme very often in my Disney albums. So I loved this one because it pulled away from that and came back to some colors that were, you know, just one color at a time, and it's not red, black, or yellow. So that was my favorite. I'm going to do a little stack of papers behind the photo. So I've got pink freckled fawn. I think I'll start with that relatively straight, and then have a little bit of movement with just some small angles from these on top. Kind of rotating through the different colors that I wanted to include. So I've got pink at the back there, and then pink next to the photo too. That's going to help emphasize that pink that I wanted that isn't particularly obvious in the photo. I'm going to do a strip of these cameras. And I'm not going to stick them down yet, but I want to figure out where they're going to go. Are they going to go on the vertical? That's actually kind of cool. It's just coincidence that they happen to be the same width. But I think that's calling me. That happened for a reason. That's where it's meant to be. Okay, but I'm going to leave it until the end because I'm going to put some ink on this page, and I know the ink will not work well with the transparency. So I just have it kind of allocated where it's going to go in my mind. That's all I need, and then I will put it on after the ink is dry. And that should help me not create a big, huge mess. Okay, this one I want to end that heart. That's going to go over here, and I'm actually going to pop that underneath all the layers that are there. So goodness knows that I love adhesive that you can move around, because the stuff that you can't would just leave me frustrated, because I like to put the bottom layer on even though there's already stuff on top. Alright, I want a little bit of green, and I'm going to get out a circle punch. What size do I like? I'm going to try this smaller one. And maybe 3 small ones from here too. Some pink with a bit of texture. The green's got a bit of texture too. If you look really closely at it, it's got a bit of a fabric texture, which is quite nice. Okay, and then I was thinking that I could tuck these around to create just little pockets of color and other stuff. So this is where I'm going to put more stuff. I'm going to bounce them in this little diagonal line. And this one with some, oops, to take one at the top and one at the bottom, I think, to overlap, like that. Do I put one up there? Yeah. So that's given me some diagonal movement across the page from the place where we start to read to the place where we end, so that naturally will follow, your eye will naturally follow that if you read in this direction. And then I've broken it up here, so these two are in pairs, but I've broken this one here so that the photo, the most important thing on the page, is in the middle of that. So your mind is going to, you know, put a lot of importance on that. And I do like it when I can have that work out. Now, I'm going to do some labels from the chevron. Trusty old label punch. Label punch is EK Success, and that circle punch is a Fiskars one. So now I've got those little pieces, and I wanted to be able to tuck this in up here. Not there. Let's go this way. Go. And then I've got room to bring these down here. And I'm not too worried that I've got empty space here because I'm going to put more stuff there, so that's okay. Right, I think that's about as much as I want to put on before I add the ink. I am looking at this, however, and realizing that it looks a little too angled for what I've got on the page. I haven't really done a huge amount of angle, so you know. Okay, so for the ink today, I'm actually using concentrated watercolor that I normally use for lettering and things like that, but I'm just going to drop it onto the page. So this is Dr. P.H. Martin's in 4090 Raspberry. And so it has a little eyedropper, and I can just do it straight from there. Come on. It's giving me a giant bubble instead of ink. Let's try again. There we go. Now, I haven't tried this as droplets on this particular cardstock, so this is a little experiment to find out how it will work. I'll let that dry. I quite like a little bit of black ink as well. So while this dries, get the black ink ready. I don't want to put them both on wet, really, because I would rather be able to get I'd rather the colors not just bleed into one another. So the black that I use is an old Mr. Huey's Color Mist in Inky Black. But I'll wait for this to dry first and then do the black. Okay, and then again, I will let that dry before I do anything else. Now, I don't use a lot of Disney product on my pages, but I ran across these the other day and I just could not say no. So they're just Disney Tsum Tsum stickers. And it includes, I think, 2 sheets of flat stickers. Oh, and one of them's foiled. Okay, so the top sheet's puffy stickers. Let's just get all of that out of the way. Top sheet is puffy stickers. And then pink flat stickers. And then the turquoise ones also have silver foil. So that's super cute. Okay, so I'm going to put some of these in with the more to my page, in the more embellishment. I'm also going to go ahead and pop this onto the page, and I'm going to look to see where it falls under that pink circle, because that's where I'm going to put the adhesive. Nice thing about transparencies is I find they don't need a lot of adhesive, especially if you're using little strips like this. So getting it in place somewhere is usually enough to hold it in place the whole time. So unfortunately, of course, I don't have a Pete's Dragon sticker because I'm not a character or a set of characters that comes up very often, but there's definitely some pink and green here. So I've got Cheshire Cat. I've got a mini. Is there no Mickey? there must be a Mickey. Come on. There's a Mickey. I can have a silver Mickey. I'm just thinking that that would play into the black and white as well as being pretty classic in terms of characters, embellishments. So you can put that there. And I have a silver mini as well. So I could bring that up here to the other spot where I have both dots together. And that gives me a little bit of continuity along that line. Also recently picked up these lovely puffy stickers from Ellie's Studio. And the green is in there as well as the pink. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's get some green on the pink hearts. And then, I think not hearts, but I'm going to then put some pink on top of the green so that I have those two items with their little contrasting character, contrasting color. Right, this is the sticker book from Me and My Big Ideas. Hello, friend. Now these stickers are all on clear. Clear sticker stock, which is not my favorite because I don't always work on white cardstock, but in this case, when I do work on white cardstock, it works well. So I'm going to use a bunch of these today. Let's see what else I've got that fits. Now this is a friend book, so a lot of the things won't fit the theme for us, but you'd be surprised. How about this adventure? I'm wondering if that would fit in there. Oh, no, it's a little too close to this scripty paper, so I'm going to put that back for now. But there are these little hearts that work really well, and they will fit in these little clusters, just following that kind of diagonal line that's been made along there. Might be enough, or I might add more. I do have these little cameras, which I am really enjoying. I used this on my last layout too, and there's some pink ones. So why don't I throw those in too? Where? How do they look on top of the green? Maybe I'll just have one there. Live with that a little. It does lose because it's on clear sticker stock, it loses that brightness when you put it on another color like the green. I pulled out a few more things. I've lived with that little pink camera for a little bit, and I'm not convinced. So I'm going to save that camera for something else, if it comes off easily. And I'm going to swap to something else. Okay, a little bit of paper came off, but not so much that will bother anything. So on top of the green hearts, I'm going to add some pink. For the green circles, I'm going to add some pink sparkly enamel dots. These are Glitter Girl enamel dots. So I'm just going to start with that one since it has the bit of paper that I tore off just then. Put one up here with Minnie. And one down here. That one going off this edge just to emphasize the diagonal. And then I'm going to put the title in next, but I have pulled out some more embellishments and I've gone a little bit retro. I've got, not very retro here, some bits from a February 2016 Scraptastic kit that has those colors. The blue, the pink, and the green are all in there, and the black and white. So those seemed a good match. And then these are far more retro. Some Love Elsie chipboard buttons that are, probably about 12 years old. And I'm going to scatter that into the embellishment too. But I want to do the title and the journaling first before I run out of room for those important things, and then I can sprinkle more embellishments on. So for the tile, I'm going to use black Hipster Thickers and these pink letter tiles from Ellie's Studio. Now for the title, I'm going to do, and meet us at the People Mover, because we love the People Mover, and I think that when time passes on, I might not actually realize that this is the People Mover. If you know Disney rides, then you can see the blue seat back here. And so in the journaling, I want to write about our love of the People Mover. So there we go. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write backwards to fit it in this space. And it's going to go right in here. Moment of truth. I want the whole title over. So I'm going to pick up every single letter and move it over, and I'm okay with that. Much happier with that. Did just kind of cheat and add an extra word because I wasn't sure all of these were going to pull up, and I didn't have extras of all the letters, so I thought it would be easier than creating a catastrophe. Now I'm going to put the journaling in before anything else, and just quite fancy doing some pencil line journaling. I'm not even sure why, but it's just what I fancy today. So I'm just going to pencil in the lines, literally, and then write my journaling, on top with a really fine black pen. I know this seems like it would be much easier starting with the top line and moving down, but I really like it when it ends in the right place, and I'm less bothered about the lines being perfectly spaced than I am about it ending in the right spot. Okay. Do I think that's enough room? And I might carry it down here. Finished that journaling, added a little bit here just with date and place to match with the pencil lines and everything. I'm going to leave the pencil lines in place. And now more embellishment. So I've got things to tuck all over the place. I wanted to bring this up here and have a bit more layering behind the photo there. I've got some green to bring in there as well. It's covering up that whole corner of the paper stack there, which is nice, so I think I like it here a little bit better. Do I even want it closer to the photo? No, I think I like it behind the pink. Okay, behind the pink. Move it just a little bit over to this side. There we go. So it's further right than that tag, so these are kind of zigzagging back and forth. Got a pink one here too. Not sure. I've got some little circles to bring in. You know, I'm tempted to bring these into the diagonal line instead. guess I could bring them up, one up here, bring the pink one down here to the bottom. That one into this grouping here. Yes, that I'm much happier with. Now, I thought about using this one because this is little camera's similar style to this. And this is a washi strip. So, can it come down here maybe? I know I've got a spot sticking there, but I want to put something larger on top of that. So that's okay. Might leave the rest of those. The black and white polka dot could work, but I'm not seeing an obvious spot for it at the moment. Let's get these bigger pieces in then. So that's too big. I could do this one. Or this one to bring in the blue down here, I think is a better idea. Okay, so blue is going to go there. I'm going to just stick these all in place, and then once they are all there, I'll punch all the holes and then I'll stitch all the threads because I definitely do want thread through them. Okay, so if that's the blue with the green, I want to make sure I include the other blue with the green, which is this one. And this could go right in that gap there. Yep, yep, yep. Then, what else do we have? Maybe these clusters are all pink and green, so it might be nice to bring the blue into those little spots. That's too big for there. Brought blue down there. Need to bring some blue up here. So I can put that right about there. What about this hot pink? If I bring a hot pink button to the green circle there, then I can take a green button to the hot pink circle down here. Annoyingly, I think the best place is going to be underneath that, right over the top of that ink. Yeah, I'm going to cover it up. Okay, any more of those? I kind of feel like it needs something this side, so let's see. I think that big blue one is just a bit too big and bulky. I think that's a better shape. Plus it's kind of like fireworks above the castle, so I like that. And I've got all my hearts everywhere, so I wanted to bring a heart in, and maybe that heart needs to go here. That's going to be really annoying to sew through all those layers, but I think it's going to work. That one there. Okay. Now, what this line now needs to me is a little bit more black. So, I think, yeah. I don't know that I have any. I just realized what I was going to say. I was going to say, I don't know if I have any black hearts. Well, meaning, like, do I have something like this, but a heart shape? Because I've used mostly hearts. Do I have a black heart to put on my layout? Anyway, I'm going to add these little stars in. I do have that star at least on the layout. So, oh, and there's stars in this paper. So it's not completely obtuse. And these just stick. So I can make little triangles within those groups. So I've got one little triangle there, one here, here, and if I bring one down here, do I want to bring it all the way out here? It is a triangle. It's kind of a different style than I normally do, but it's still on the diagonal line. I like it. Okay, that's enough of that. That gives it a little bit more black. And you know what else I could do to bring in the black is, originally when I looked at the buttons, I was going to do contrasting threads, so like this would have the blue or the green inside, but actually I think it'll look best if I just put black thread in all those buttons, and that will run the black through that diagonal line and make me very happy indeed, I believe. So that will work there. I do have these which kind of mimic that shape, so I might put those in, but I think I better do the sewing first so that these don't come loose while I'm bending the page around to do the sewing. So I'm going to use my paper piercer to punch these holes and sew them up with black thread. Buttons all stitched on, and I'm pretty much happy that everything is finished, but the only thing I feel like it's missing is a bit of sparkle. So I am going to add those blue stars, these little stars, and then I'm going to add a few of these more silvery sparkly ones. Just looking, I think I do want the blue one up here and the pink one down here. And then these little shiny ones just dotted about on the diagonal. Oh, that one lost its adhesive. Come here. Try a different one. Just so that there's a little bit of sparkle amongst that. There is just that little bit of shine on the Mickey and Minnie stickers. But nice to have a little something extra too, because there's never enough sparkle for me. About there. I'll tape that down so it doesn't pop out the top of the page protector. That's just the end of the thread on the other side. And that's it. That's where I'm going to leave this one. That's going to go into my album for the, and I totally wrote the wrong date. 2017 album. And I've gone on autopilot and written 2018, so I'll have to fix that. Anyway, I will come up with a way to fix that. And then it will go into the 2017 Trip album, which is the one with almost all of the pages on a white background. So I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please thumbs up, subscribe, come see some more regular videos coming your way shortly. And also a brand new class all about layering, which you can sign up for anytime now at Shimelle.com. I'd love to see you here or in class, so stay in touch. See you soon.